Greetings, dearest ones. Welcome back to Shelter in the Storm, the Course in Miracles lessons number 30. We're almost a month in. Oh, you're going so well, keep going. Okay guys, we're just going to overlap the text a little bit just so we remember where we read up to last and where we're continuing on from. We're finishing off part 6 of chapter 2, fear and conflict, and then we're just starting on part 7 tonight after that, and then we'll continue part 7 tomorrow. Okay, let's go. I have emphasized that the miracle or the expression of atonement is always a sign of respect from the worthy to the worthy. The recognition of this worth is re-established by the atonement. It is obvious then, excuse me, it is obvious then that when you are afraid, you have placed yourself in a position where you need atonement. You have done something loveless, having chosen without love. This is precisely the situation for which the atonement was offered. The need for the remedy inspired its establishment. As long as you recognize only the need for the remedy, you will remain fearful. However, as soon as you accept the remedy, you have abolished the fear. This is how true healing occurs. Everyone experiences fear, yet it would take very little right thinking to realize why fear occurs. Few appreciate the real power of the mind, and no one remains fully aware of it all the time. However, if you hope to spare yourself from fear, there are some things you must realize, and realize fully. The mind is very powerful and never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. That's a scary thought. Every instant it is creating. It is hard to recognize that thought and belief combine into a powerful surge that can literally move mountains. It appears at first glance that to believe such power about yourself is arrogant. But that is not the real reason you do not believe it. You prefer to believe that your thoughts cannot exert real influence because you are actually afraid of them. This may allay awareness of the guilt, but at the cost of perceiving the mind as impotent. If you believe that what you think is ineffectual, you may cease to be afraid of it, but you are hardly likely to respect it. There are no idle thoughts. All thinking produces form at some level. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh, excuse me, cramp in the back. Okay, let's move to part 7 of chapter 2, which is called Cause and Effect. You may still complain about fear, but you nevertheless persist in making yourself fearful. You have already indicated that you cannot ask me. I'll read that last sentence again. I have already indicated that you cannot ask me to release you from fear. I know it does not exist, but you do not. If I intervened between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with a basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is. I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. It is much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts carefully enough. You may feel that at this point it would take a miracle to enable you to do this, which is perfectly true. You are not used to miracle-minded thinking, but you can be trained to think that way. All miracle workers need that kind of training. I cannot let you leave your mind unguarded, or you will not be able to help me. Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation. Otherwise, a miracle will be necessary to set the mind itself straight, a circular process that would not foster the time collapse for which the miracle was intended. The miracle worker must have genuine respect for true cause and effect as a necessary condition for the miracle to occur. That sounds very obvious and true and very scientific. We'll leave it there for tonight, guys, and we'll take up part 7 of chapter 2 tomorrow. Let's move to lesson 30. God is in everything I see, because God is in my mind. The idea for today is the springboard for vision. From this idea will the world open up before you, and you will look upon it and see in it what you have never seen before. Nor will what you saw before be even faintly visible to you. Today we are trying to use a new kind of projection. We are not attempting to get rid of what we do not like by seeing it outside. Let me read that last sentence and make sure I've got that right. We are not attempting to get rid of what we do not like by seeing it outside. Instead, we are trying to see in the world what is in our minds, and what we want to recognize is there. Thus, we are trying to join with what we see rather than keeping it apart from us. That is the fundamental difference between vision and the way you see. Today's idea should be applied as often as possible throughout the day. Whenever you have a moment or so, repeat it to yourself slowly, looking about you and trying to realize that the idea applies to everything you do see now, or could see now if it were within the range of your sight. Real vision is not limited to concepts such as near and far. To help you begin to get used to this idea, try to think of things beyond your present range, as well as those you can actually see, as you apply today's idea. Real vision is not only unlimited by space and distance, but it does not depend on the body's eyes at all. The mind is its only source. To aid in helping you become more accustomed to this idea as well, devote several practice periods to applying today's idea with your eyes closed, using whatever subjects come to your mind or come to mind, and looking within rather than without. Today's idea applies equally to both. Okay, let us move on to Jesus' commentary for lesson 30. God is in everything I see, because God is in my mind. You are blessed beings, Indeed, I am that one you know as Jesus, and we are happy that you are still with us, coming to the end of this first month of lessons. You did not believe you would make it this far. Yet, here you are on day 30 of A Course in Miracles lessons. You are already 1/12 of the way toward the goal you set. So do not fade away now. Do not miss lessons or think they are too hard to understand or too difficult to accomplish. You are already planting seeds of love all around you as you do these exercises. When God is in everything you see, you step back from judgment. This is the greatest gift that you can give yourself, your body, your family, your community, and the world. When you step back from judgment, saying, "That is wrong, that is evil, and that is profane," you open to the universe. You open your consciousness to all that is. And that is the path we walk on together, where we come to a place that there is love for everything. Instead of projecting your hatred, instead of laying hateful stories on the world and giving it a terrible meaning, now you project into the world the truth that God is in everything you see. That does not mean that God created everything you see, but God is all that is. It is important for you to understand this basic principle of forgiveness. Many of you think of forgiveness as letting people off the hook, so to speak. Forgiveness is a way of looking at the world. It is a soft way, a loving way, a kind way. It keeps your heart open and your defenses down. And that is how you connect with your brothers and sisters without fear. Your stories about the world, your judgments about the world, and your cursing of the world, or saying it is profane, keep you defensive, shut down, and alone. That is why you suffer. Go into this lesson today with great enthusiasm, for you shift your consciousness more than you know. You shift the projections that emanate from you more than you know as you begin to see the world not as your enemy, but as a simple reflection of that which is in you, in your mind. It is important these days, as we go deeper into the lessons, to witness at times your inability to remember what you are meant to do. It is important for you to just see this and say, I have not known what my mind has been doing for several hours. This is why I am in a mind training program. It is not a demonstration of failure. It demonstrates the necessity to do this program. So do not hate yourselves or judge yourselves harshly. Merely witness what you are unable to do with your mind. You're unable to focus. At times, you're unwilling even to give a minute to your spiritual practice. In that observation, you realize that you go 6 or 7 hours without giving a minute to your spiritual practice with presence. You create unconsciously all day long, and you will get a very mixed bag of results reflected back to you. I am that one you know as Jesus, and we love that you are with us. Share this information. Be brave. Let people know what you are up to. Do not feel the need to justify or explain it. Just say, "This is what I'm up to." Join or don't join. It's up to you. I am that one you know as Jesus, and we will speak to you tomorrow. Namaste, blessed ones. Thank you.